Hello, I'm just going to wait a few minutes and make sure everything is set up here. If you are live, you can say hello. All right, so I see that it is working. That is good. This is good. This is good. Okay, perfect. Give a minute for everyone to hop on and also to just close some screens so I don't get booted off. All right, so welcome to the Light Beyond Lost Sisterhood, where we are going to talk about creating sacred spaces today. I did a live on this, gosh, it was 2 months ago already, and I was having some technical difficulties. And this is one of my most favorite topics that I love to talk about because it really is for everyone, and it helps support us no matter what kind of loss we are going through or what kind of challenge in our life that we are experiencing in the moment, because it really is creating something for yourself and to support you where you are at, and also to bring more balance and harmony into your life. And it really, like, having sacred space for me is like the foundation of self-care for myself, and I just know how much it helps me. And so I want to share what I know with you as well. So this is for you if you have a hard time carving out space for yourself. Also, if it feels like you don't have time to grieve your loss, you're busy supporting other people, or if you wonder how it's possible really to honor your past while creating your future, because sometimes we feel like those two things together are not possible. So today we are going to talk about creating sacred space that really honors where you are at. And so this is really, I'm going to share what I know, like, um, you know, a little bit of it anyways. And of course, like, this topic is so expansive, and I could talk about it for a very long time. It is a part of my program, and we do spend a full week on creating our sacred spaces at the beginning of any of my programs. So I uh, I want to share like a little bit of background for what sacred spaces are. And for me, like I said, they're for everyone. They're not like confined to a religion or a set spiritual practice. Almost every religion has some sort of altar or sacred space within it. And an altar, the definition of an altar is just a place of higher ground. So I'll get into that a little bit more, but for me, it's that place where you can connect to your higher self. And so everything is energy, and we innately know that. We hear about that, and like our intuition and our inner calling really wants us to trust in that truth. And so when we believe, or when we align with that truth, that everything is energy, we also come to realize that everything vibrates at a certain frequency. So if the vibration of a room, or you've probably walked into a space where the vibe feels really low, right? And then we can be influenced by that and feel the heavier emotions from being in that space, like anger or frustration. Alternatively, if you've walked into a space where the vibe is high, like the vibration of the space is high and the people are, feeling you're feeling a higher vibration from the people surrounding you, then you can experience lighter emotions like love and gratitude. So with that, knowing the energy of a space, of a place, really impacts us on all levels. And so that's spiritually, physically, mentally, energetically, emotionally. And these this these energies can also, by the way that we respond to them, can impact the limitations that we place on ourselves, and also what is possible for our healing and for moving forward. So we want to encourage the movement of energy. It's, I'm not saying low vibe is necessarily wrong, because we do need to feel both to really experience um, the healing power of actually feeling a higher vibration, and how we can influence and create the higher vibrations within ourselves. And a good place to start is creating a sacred space for yourself, in your home or on your property, as these can act as a signal for you to slow down, even just for a moment, and check in with yourself and ask yourself, like, where are you? What emotions are you feeling in that moment? So a sacred space, or sacred spaces, like I said, are usually a focal point for healing work, and they can empower healing intentions and blessing. They contain healing powers that can increase over time. So we'll talk about that as well, and how to maintain your sacred space. And they can reflect changes in the seasons, and that can be inner seasons and the outer seasons, your personal transformation processes, and really a place for you to create balance and harmony. So I'll talk more about how to do that in the way that you set up your sacred space as well. And so as you become more connected to your sacred space, you'll naturally curate more time to nurture and expand it. So it's not like it doesn't have to be something where, like say an exercise regime where you're like, you need to work out 30 minutes, drink like 2 gallons of water a day type thing, like that. It's really it expands on the naturally with you and where you are at. And so you may find yourself, like, after you create your sacred space, you'll find yourself collecting items as you go about your day that reminds you of people, places, or things from your past that you want to honor in your sacred space, or items that are like symbols for the vision of your future. So say, you want to live by a beach one day, and you find this beautiful shell, And so you can put that shell on in your sacred space and create that intention for the vision of your future. And so really the possibilities of what you add to your sacred space are endless. And as you continue this practice, you'll discover that it really is a mirror for all that is within the realms of your possibility for you in your life. And so they can hold dear memories of your past to be honored and revered. And they can also hold positive intention and actions for your next part of living. So today, I'm going to share with you how to build an altar, or you can call it a meditation space, you could call it your sacred space. Really feel free to follow my instructions exactly, or like I say, with any thing I do, like when I read oracle cards or do training such as this, feel free to eat the fish and spit out the bones. So because this training is for many of you, it's going to be quite general, and then I'll show you as well what I have on my altar, which is actually a little full right now. I don't, but it's summer, right? It's a full season. So I will go through the items that are on my altar as well. So the first thing to do is really to think about, there's about 5 steps. And so the first thing is to choose a space. The second is to cleanse your space. The third is to set an intention for your space. And the fourth is the fun part, is where you get to gather items and add them to your space. And then the fifth part is using and maintaining your sacred space. So the first part is choosing a space. And so when you're choosing a space for your altar, there are literally no rules. Choose a space that feels and looks good to you. It's your space. So it's a space where you want to come back to time and time again. So make it yours. And this could be, if you have a spare room, that would be great. I do have mine in my office. So my whiteboard is usually up on the wall there. I just took it down and set it beside me. And my desk is here. And then all of my bookshelf and everything's over there. But it's somewhere that I come to every day, every morning. And then I have a 5-year-old. So I have it in such a way where I can guard it too. And I don't know, I never close the door. So we have a pretty good relationship where he knows not to touch, but I mean, he did break my great grandma's teacup when he was little. But that was a total lesson for me of like what not to do when your toddler's holding something very fragile. So other spaces you can have are like a corner in your room where you can have some privacy. Perhaps your walk-in closet if you have, or like a bigger closet, or even, you can open the closet. I've seen altars where a lady I know, she opens her closet and then the altar is there. And then when she doesn't want to have it exposed, or, then she can close the door. It can be as simple as a shelf or a nightstand, a table in your house, outside in your garden, and like a flower bed. I've set up altars during certain times of the year to celebrate cycles of the season out in my yard. You can also have a portable one. So A lot of women I know also have like a say an organza bag or like a makeup bag where they put crystals and a candle and whatever, you know, what they want, so that they have a portable one. So when they go on trips, they can set up a little altar in their hotel room or B&B, whatever. So literally, like, the options are endless, and it's really like, for me, like, it was one of the first ways that I was able to access my creativity, because for so long, you know, I had a hard time accessing the creative side of me, because I was like, I'm a trained scientist. So this was a wonderful way for me to really start to access creativity and not have any rigidity, any rules that I had to worry about. So the ideal space is really like out of the way if you have children, and also somewhere where you feel peaceful, or you can reach that feeling of peace. So somewhere that's quiet and relaxed, essentially, so that you can practice um, coming to a place of peacefulness, harmony, and balance. So I hope that inspired some ideas for you to choose a space. If you have chosen a space, you can share with us in the chat. I can't see the chat right now, but I'll definitely respond to all comments as soon as I'm done. So to cleanse the space, which is step 2, there's like several different ways you can do it. I know we all live in different situations. You know, some apartments and condos, you're not allowed to have smoke in them. You may live with someone or have yourself have some sensitivities to scent. Excuse me. So there are options, is what I am saying. The shamans have cleansed spaces for thousands of years. And so this is, I'm going to show you a practice that I learned from the shaman training that I have done. So you can follow this practice that I was taught using different tools. I can show you right now, actually. So I have a singing bowl. You can cleanse space, like walk around and cleanse space with sound. If you have bells, you can use bells. You can clap your hands even. Another is you can use an essential oil spray. So this is, I think I have vinegar and water. Do I have not vinegar and water? Alcohol and water in here with some essential oil. I have Palo Santo here and some sage here. I've been very blessed where I have not had to purchase any of these. I have been gifted most of, like, yeah, I've been gifted these. So I'll talk more about sourcing things as well a little bit later. You can use like resin from trees, such as frankincense and myrrh, or else you can use unscented, yeah, like salt water, which is unscented, right? You can cleanse a space with salt water. So I will just use the sage here, because then you can actually get a visual of it. And I also have a feather here that I created at my friend Angie Pilato's farm when I went to visit her. I think that was 2 years ago now. August long weekend, crazy. So before you begin, You can thank the spirit of the plant medicine or the essential oil, which is also a plant medicine, really. So that's how you begin. You can thank the spirit of the plant medicine. And so what I usually say is, thank you for cleansing all negative energy, unwanted energy from my space. So that is cleansed and purified completely. In full faith, so it is. Okay. So then you can use a feather. If you don't have a feather, you can wave your hand too. It's not necessary to have a feather. It's just nice to have. So you can cleanse yourself by starting at the top of your head and waving the smoke. Or if you have an oil, you can spray around you. Water, you can mist yourself. So you don't need to say anything. You can just be in gratitude for the plant medicine, and then wave it around and down your body, along your legs. And then for your room, I'm not going to stand up right now because I don't want to adjust everything, but the idea is to start in the corner and you wave the smoke so it reaches the corner. Careful not to burn yourself. And then go clockwise around the room and get every corner. Just like that. So you can walk around the room and actually wave the smoke into the corners and along the upper edges of the room. And so once you are finished, make sure that you smudge, make sure your smudge stick is completely out. They can smolder away for hours if you just leave it. There we go. Dirty there, but oh well. It's being used. So that is how you cleanse yourself and your room. You can do that throughout your entire house as well, if you like. Yeah, so that's quite simple, actually. So the next part is to set an intention. And I like to set the intention before I create my sacred space, because it really helps to decide what items to collect. So setting an intention, I mean, it can be quite broad. It doesn't have to be just one thing. And to do that, you can ask yourself, like, what is the purpose of my sacred space? And you can journal this out. You can ask yourself and just speak it out loud. You can also have more than one altar to honor different aspects of healing that you're focusing on. I have this altar as my altar that changes with the seasons. But I also have an altar that is in my closet, which doesn't have a door. And it is all of my ancestors. So I have my dad's mom and my grandparents. So my maternal grandparents, my paternal grandparents, my mom and my dad. And I also have a photo of me with all of my siblings, which they are still all here and well. And I have a photo of me in Nepal at the end of my trip, which is just like a symbol to me of just what I am capable of and like what I get to do because of my ancestors. So it's quite simple, but I like it there because I can look up from my desk and they're watching over me. Another thing is, or things that you can ask is, like, is there a theme that you want to create, or a thought or a feeling that you would like to invoke, like meaning how you want to feel in the future, like, oh, I want to be joyful and loving, but then like as you're creating your altar, you are bringing that into the present moment. And like I said, these are just like things that, like questions you can ask yourself that will really help you decide what items to collect or will guide you towards the items that you will place on your altar in your sacred space. And then the fourth step is the fun part is where you gather items that are meaningful to you to add to your altar. And so, like I said, there are no rules. You can, after you choose your sacred space, you can sit in it and ask your inner wise woman what you intend for the space, and then follow that intention and listen to your intuition to really be guided to what you want to include in your sacred space. So there are some general guidelines, like, I mean, for themes, you could include your spiritual guides. I can share with you what I have here. I just want to make sure that I'm not blocking anything. Okay. So spiritual guides. I have Mother Mary. So she is my main woman who guides me. And then I also have spirit animals that change. So you can be shown a spirit animal as a guide. Unless it's you know, unless it's like your power animal won't change all the time, but your spirit animals may change. And these were like the moose. I'm in northern Canada, so I'm not surprised that the moose is one of my guides. And so these were shown to other people that I have worked with and given to me. And so what I did is I went on the internet, found some images of ones that spoke to me, and then put them on poster board, glued them on poster board. And then the lion, so it's the lion's gate right now. So that is a very special one in the moment. Other things you could do is, like, if you're working with your masculine and feminine qualities and balancing those, you can use symbols for that. I have a light here, my rocks, my salt lamp. I have stones. This one, I forget what it's called, but I know it's like for independence. And then I have like offerings for my guides. These are flowers from my garden. Since it's summertime, I can actually use fresh flowers. I also have dried herbs. So there's rose or raspberry leaf and rosemary, I think, and sage in there. So those are from my garden from last year. Other ideas you can use symbols to reflect your body, mind, heart, soul, spirit. You can also use, which I normally do, are the elements. So I usually have something that symbolizes the 4 elements. I actually don't have water here today. But the feather is for air. The offerings are earth. They usually have a cup of water. Fire would be the candle, which is there. I usually always light the candle in the morning and it burnt itself out. What else you can use are like qualities that you want to embody. So choosing symbols that are like for forgiveness, for love, peacefulness. The options are endless. You can create an altar for inner child work. So you could have photos of you as like different ages, as you are healing each of your inner children who are, being called forward. You can use symbols of life, death, transformation, like rebirth. And then like really it's like using items that amplify the energy of your sacred space. So like I have the singing bowl, my feathers, crystals, this rock is from a hike that I recently did with a group of people that are dear to me. I have my rosary here from when my mom was sick. And so that is, I've always had that with me. And so that now sits on my altar. I have this, like, you can add quotes. So I have this little quote. It says, "Make each day your masterpiece." I think that, and my rattle and my drum. And that's my eye cover for when I journey on my drum, in case you're wondering what that is. And then you can also have statues. So I have a fairy here for summer. You could have different deities, different goddesses, different gods, Jesus, anything really. So I will just add a list of ideas in the comments once I am finished. But the options are endless. I just want you to know that. So it could be like, you could have little decorations, little, what do you call them? Like novelty items from your loved ones. You could have jewelry, plants, like a plant that your special person love. Like my mom, poppies remind me of my mother. So every time I see poppies, I think of my mom. You could have your journal sitting on there to have that energy imbued into your writing. You can bring, like I said, water, shells, quotes, flower petals. So more into the fall, I will have like seeds. I will bring more seeds into my sacred space, bits of plants that are being harvested. And these are all like offerings that are for my sacred space. So I don't eat the herbs after I go and I release them back to Mother Earth, because they are essentially offerings to my guides and calling my guides into my sacred space. You could have photos, oracle cards, rocks, pebbles, essential oils. So really the options are limitless. I just wanted to give you some ideas that you could roll with today. So yeah, just make it your own. Don't get hung up on how you think it should look. What I was going to say earlier is to be aware and cognizant of cultural appropriation. So I live in an area that is used by uh, three different indigenous groups. And so for me, I am very lucky in that they are accessible. Like I can speak to them and ask them which is appropriate for me to harvest, and also have like I can ask my friend and asking like what wild crafting practices are acceptable in certain areas, and like how I can actually be a positive impact to the land and not a negative one, or else using their sacred objects in an unsanctioned way. So for instance, like I grow my own sage, and like many of the things that I do have here to smudge have been gifted to me by indigenous people, or people who have are supporting other cultures in other areas of the world. Um, so I hope that is clear. And so the next part is really arranging your altar. So in creating your altar, you can have a focal point. I'm kind of embarrassed. I didn't light my candle, but mine is my candle. You could put your like a statue there, a deity there, your spirit animal, a vase of flowers, a candle like me. Especially if you're meditating, or one thing, like if I don't, if I'm not meditating here, if I'm meditating outside, I will come here and just not just, but I will come here in the morning before I start work and light my candle and give thanks, gratitude for what is really prominent in my day, and just sit quietly and tune in for a moment. The I don't know if so the it's interesting because usually I'm quite type A, I guess, about having things symmetrical. Like I said, my altar feels really full right now. There's things on here that I would probably, um, you know, not have, and just to create like more space. And so when you think of like having a symmetrical space, it really is like calling in that balance and harmony. So that is like a huge part of our practice, is calling in balance and harmony. And I don't balance, I just mean like almost like a homeostasis, right? Like a neutral and peaceful energy. And so those are the types of energies that you want to welcome into your sacred space. So having that symmetrical feel to it welcomes that as well. But like I said, it's not completely necessary. Like I think in a weird way, mine is actually symmetrical right now. Um, so now that you have your space, you get to maintain it. And this is like where your practice really gets to expand, where you get to become intimate with your sacred space. This is where you get to almost track your feelings, like track where you're at. On a daily basis. And it doesn't mean that you're trying to get somewhere. I'm not meaning that, but just when you create this kind of space, it allows you to check in, like creates those moments for you to check in so you know yourself better. So it's very to create that connection is also to have care for something. So it's important to clean and cleanse your altar as you see fit. Like don't have cobwebs growing on it or dust, and being like I have to be really like careful when I'm working because I want to like put stuff on there, right? So just refrain from like just throwing stuff on there, like your keys or like even the lighter. Like sometimes I light the candle and I just leave it there. But then I look and I'm like, a hot pink lighter really just doesn't go with the energy of what I am intending for my altar. Um, so it's just like, it's honoring everything that you have created by keeping it clean and clear. And also feel free to change it, like change it with the seasons. You can change it with how you feel. Never feel like it's a stagnant energy. It's like a very dynamic energy. You can change your offerings for your spirit guides. When they're with the fresh flowers, because they wilt quickly, I don't have them in water or anything. So, there's certain times where I change the offerings more frequently. The other thing is like the offerings are being used, and so they do become they wilt and they'll become pale. So it's good to change them out and to keep that energy high. And it's like I said, it just changes and evolves as your practice evolves as well. And take the pressure off. This is your space alone. It is not for Pinterest or Instagram. It is for you. And so really, honestly, there is no one way that it has to look. Oh, the one thing I wanted to say is to have like a piece of fabric. And this can even go with your portable altar. Is just, you could take like a doily. My mom made this. You could take a doily, just a little piece of fabric that signifies that this is your space. So if you wanted to have like two different themes, you could have two different pieces of fabric. So I could have like a gold piece of fabric on one side and a purple one on the other, and also separate, have two different themes if I wanted to. So I just wanted to add that. I forgot to say that. Yeah, so this is a space where you can sit quietly, for you to reflect, for you to be still, to commune with your inner knowing, with your soul, with your ancestors, your loved ones. And like I said, to show gratitude for your creator, for for yourself, that you are doing this for yourself. So it's just, for me, it's like that check-in point to really, the more that we are in tune with our emotions, the I don't want to say easier, but really the easier it is to navigate our losses and our transitions, because we're not like being sideswiped by our emotions, right? We create this anchor in our life so that we know more better how we are feeling. And yeah, so I think that's all I have for you today. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below, or you can always private message me. I am always available through the Facebook Messenger. But yeah, I would love to hear how you are implementing what you've learned today. And if you want to share photos of your sacred space in our sacred space here, feel free to do so. And yeah, I would love to see what you are up to and really celebrate you for taking this time for yourself. So have a wonderful and blessed day, and I will talk to you soon. Okay, bye.